In this demo, I will show you how to build your own Docker image. If you already followed my other training, Learn DevOps Continuously Deliver Better Software, then this will be very familiar and you can actually skip this lecture. In this demo, I'm going to use my Ubuntu Xenial Vagrant box. If you haven't set up one yet, have a look at the demo where I explain how to set up a cluster on AWS. The first demo explains you how to set up a Vagrant box with Linux. Like I said, you can also just download Docker for Windows or Docker for Mac and then execute the commands in a terminal or using CMD or PowerShell on Windows. I'm going to use Linux. You can get exactly the same box, so you should be able to exactly replicate this labs using this Vagrant box. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install Docker. I can do that using apt-get install. So I'm just going to apt-get install docker.io, which is going to install Docker for me. This is going to install the latest version that is bundled with Ubuntu. If you want the really latest version, then you will have to get the latest version from their website. And their website also has the instructions how to install the latest one. This one is bundled with Ubuntu version 1.12. Definitely good enough to do the lab. I'm also going to install Git. So apt-get install Git. In our case, it is all installed. Why do I need Git? I'm going to git clone my Git repository. So github.com docker demo. You can also just go to this URL and you can download a zip file. So you don't really need Git. It's just easy to clone it straight here. And then we have the directory docker demo. So in this directory, we have the index.js, the package.json, and the Docker file I explained. You also have a Docker compose and an index database.js. You don't really have to take a look at that. Those are used in some of my other courses. I just have one Docker demo repository that I always reuse. Docker build is going to use the Docker file. So let's have another look at this Docker file. Looks exactly the same. So now we can execute the Docker build. You can execute Docker build as root with sudo. So you can do sudo docker build and then the current directory. Or you can make sure that the user Ubuntu has access to this Docker group. Because then user Ubuntu, our user, will always be able to execute Docker. And you need to do this as a root. Once you do this, you actually need to log out and log in again. So I'm just gonna exit here, do vagrant SSH again, go to Docker demo, and then now I can do the Docker build of this Docker demo. I just paused the video for a second, and this is what you should get. So Docker has successfully built this container. And if I go back to my Docker build, you can see first it pulled the node image, then it set the working directory to /app, added the files to /app, then runs npm install. So this gets all the dependencies for node, it installs it, it's quite a lot. And then it says npm info OK. It exposes port 3000. Make sure that when you start a container, it uses npm start. So then we have this container, and you could already run this container. You can use docker run -p port 3000 is the port that this app is running on, and we want to expose it as port 3000 on the host system. So this Ubuntu Xenial is the host system. And this -t runs a Docker image with this ID. You can also specify the I flag for the interactive mode, so that if you press Ctrl+C, it will actually get killed and you don't have to kill it manually afterwards. Just going to run this. Let's open another window. And I'm just going to do curl localhost 3000, and then we have the hello world. So this is the hello world of the index.js. So that's it. Next, I'm going to explain you how to get this image online on Docker Hub so that Kubernetes can download this image so that we can run this image on our cluster.